everybody, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by W.GG, the energy drink for gamers, and by Eldridge Air Conditioning. This is our most popular event, the Sunday Evening Challenge. We have reached halfway. This is week 5, and we have come all the way over to Switzerland, to the fictional track of Deep Forest Raceway for this race. But we'll go on about the race in a second. I do want to run down, as it is halfway through the season, or week 5. Is week 6 halfway? I don't know. What's 10 rounds. We're at round 5. 5 and 6 halfway. Well, whatever. We're at week 5. I'm just going to have a quick rundown of the leagues, the league standings, should I say, for the League 4 guys. So the top 5 is Wayne G, or Too Fast for Yous, at 128 points. In second place is Harry Poppins on 125 points. Ensign Ewart, or Big Dan, is in third on 122 points. Frowny in fourth on 111 points, and Scotty Mick, or Scott, is at 5th position on 90 points. Now the bottom 5, the guys that really needs to get a shake on to avoid relegation, we've got Hoppers in 12th on 32 points. Nink, or Ninky Noo, is in 13th on 31 points. In 14th place we've got Dudebell, or Captain Slow, on 27 points. In 15th we've got Castrian on 19 points, and Phaser is 16th, although last week was only his first race, so Phaser's down his 16 on 18 points, but I'm sure he's not going to stay down there for long. So that's the league table as it stands, the top and bottom 5. So as I say, we will crack on with this race. Now, as I mentioned, we are in Switzerland, and we are at the fictional track of Deep Forest Raceway. 2.6 miles, 18 turns, unless you look at some of the internet track guides, and they'll tell you there's 15 turns. So somewhere along the line between them all, they managed to lose 3 turns, but we're going to go with 18. It's quite a technical track, actually. It's very fast, very flowing, but a bit technical. So we'll see how the guys get on. This is the first race of 2. This is just an out-and-out sprint race. It'll be soft tyres for everybody. Get round as fast as you can. The 16 laps. So we'll have a rundown of the grid, shall we? This is after qualifying. So Frowny puts himself on pole position. Scott just behind him in second, and I noticed some of the liveries are missing again. Another polyphony glitch, but hopefully that'll get sorted. Big Dan is in third, Harry Poppins is 4th, Wayne G is 5th, Pete is 6th, Aussie Rooster is 7th on the grid, Enzo Jack is 8th, Bazza is 9th, DB 10th, Molepiece is 11th, Phaser is 12th, Ninky Noo 13th, Castrian 14th, and Hoppers is 15th. So 15 out of 16. Unfortunately, Captain Slowy's missing. His car caught fire during a practice session earlier on, and they've not been able to get him a replacement. So Captain Slow's missing for this one, unfortunately. So we'll get back to I don't know what that camera's looking at. We will get back to the main camera. We'll get this race underway, shall we? Like I say, 16 laps, rolling start. So as they go down the hill, it is an anti-clockwise circuit, so it'll be the tyres on the right hand side of the car that takes the most punishment, but they should be fine for race 1. Race 2, there's a slight change. There will be a pit stop, and I believe it's changed. It used to be mediums and hards, but it may be softs and mediums now for race 2, but we'll worry about race 2 when we get to race 2. As we see Frowny taking us through turns 2, 3, 4 and 5, very tricky section of the track this. As you go around turn 5, you enter into one of the tunnels. There's about 4 of them. They're only short tunnels, well, 2 longish tunnels, but the others are relatively short. For Scott in second, Big Dan third, and Harry Poppins, Wayne G, Pete and Aussie Rooster, Enzo Jack, Bazza, Molepiece, DB in 11th, he's coming under attack already. And then we've got Phaser in 12th, he's trying to get onto the back of DB. Having a bit of a cheeky look up the inside as they go around turn 10. Very easy to pick up penalties around there. Ninky New in 13th, Castrian, and then Hoppers at the back. As they go through the second tunnel, Frowny and Scott head down towards turn 14. A really tight left-hand hairpin, very easy to spin out as well on this part of the course. But let's just have a look, make sure everybody gets through this one for the first time, and it looks like they have as well, which is fantastic. Everybody is through and racing as Phaser tries to make a move on Ninky New, and does. He gets his nose into front. Oh, Ninky New and Phaser side by side. These two are at it very early on, aren't they? And Castrian just sitting in the background watching. Not a lot of room for him to go through at the minute, as Phaser hasn't go the long way round into turn 1. Ninky New got the inside line, not always the best line though. And Phaser hanging it around the outside and keeps his nose in front of Ninky New. What a fantastic race these two are having in these early few laps. Good battling from these guys. Oh, now then, is that Castrian? Castrian got himself a little bit on the dirt, but he's still going, still facing the right way. And Hopper's just hanging in there in 15th, just waiting for a mistake from the guys in front of them. So back up to the top then. Frowny out in front, with Scott getting right up close and personal with him. Let's go on board with Scott, shall we? As we go through the first of these long tunnels into the second tunnel, you can just see there, that's where the penalty zone is. Scott having to go around the outside as Scott defends as we go into turn 14 for the second time. Where are we? Where are we? Frowny has just got through. Scott trying to get the cut back. Frowny aware of that. We've got Big Dan and Hairy Poppins right behind us, them two pushing each other along as well. This is fantastic stuff already from these Leaf 4 guys, and we're only on lap 2. I'm not sure my voice is going to be able to last it. As Scott tries to go past Scott, Frowny again. Look, see, I'm getting all confused already. Scott just getting his nose in front, but as I say, Frowny is on the inside. Where has he gone? There he is, he's still there, he's still there, and Frowny manages to just keep his bumper in front. I'm going to have to get out of this car because I need to see what's going on. This is fantastic stuff. Frowny and Scott fighting it out for P1, and we've only just started lap 3. Hairy Poppins, he's managed to get by Big Dan, and these two are having a big scrap. Wayne G's decided to join the party as well. He wants to have a bit of this. So these 5 just opening up a little bit of a gap back to Aussie Rooster. It's not massive, and I'm sure Aussie Rooster can make that gap up, especially with the guys in front fighting. As they go around turn 10, this is where you can pick up the penalties. You can see Aussie Rooster there doing a fantastic job of keeping the car just in the limit, but that's where you will pick up your penalties. We do have somebody all the way to the back now. Who is it? Oh, it's Molepiece. Now, I didn't see what happened. Oh, there it is. Let's have a look with Molepiece. We've gone around turn 5. Oh, and he's just got on the dirt, and he's had a bit of a kiss with Barrier, and that is why Molepiece is all the way down at the back. That is so unlucky. So let's just jump back to where we were as Frowny and Scott, Hairy Poppins and Big Dan take us down towards turn 14. Oh, now what's happened to Scott? That was a massive wide berth. He took that corner. I'm just going to go and have a look at that again. Scott was sitting in second, and for some reason he just, whether he couldn't get the car slowed down or I don't think he could. He had a bit of a bumper kiss, didn't he? With Frowny, he couldn't get the car slowed down enough, and that's cost him 2 places. Hairy Poppins and Big Dan both stepped through that gap and said thank you very much, we'll have a piece of that. Wayne G is just sniffing around in the background, waiting for Scott to do exactly the same thing again, so he can nick P4 from him as well. But Scott pushing really hard as Hairy Poppins and Frowny go at it now down into turn 1. And it is Hairy Poppins that's got himself on the inside. Frowny going all the way around the outside. couldn't quite keep up with Harry Poppins, and Harry Poppins finds himself leading this race now with Frowney tucked right underneath him. Big Dan sniffing all around the back end of Frowney's car, and Scott also trying to get in there. These four virtually glued to each other. Wayne G still just hanging around in the background. Look, he's getting underneath the rear wing of Scott just in front of him. You really don't want to take your eyes off of these guys up at the front. I'm going to, because I'm going to have a look down the field. But these four, these five, absolutely going at it in this round 5 of 10 here in Switzerland. It is a fantastic course, and it does produce some brilliant racing, as we're seeing already, and we're only on lap 4. As they head down towards turn 14, the tight left-handed hairpin, Frowney tries to get himself on the inside of Harry Poppins. Big Dan trying to follow him through as well. Is Harry Poppins going to lose out? He is. He's trying to cut back on Frowney, who can get the accelerator down the quickest, and it is Frowney. So Frowney retakes the lead from Harry Poppins. Big Dan slots into 3rd. Scott is in 4th. Wayne G still hanging around in 5th. I'm going to leave them there for a second as we follow Bazza and Aussie Rooster through the last of these turns, 16, 17 and 18, and I think they're the 3 that people tend to not bother with if you look at some sites. And then it is down the hill, down towards turn 1, as Bazza just leading from Aussie Rooster. Through turn 1 they go. Enzo Jack sitting there in 8th, Pete in 9th, then we've got DB in 10th. Not a lot between these guys at the minute. Phaser sitting in 11th, trying to catch up. He's picked up a penalty, that's unlucky. It is a bit of a penalty zone, this track. It is fast, it is flowing, it is technical, but you can pick up some nasty penalties as well. Ninky New down in 12th at the minute. Castro in 13th, with Hoppers and Molepiece bringing up the rear. So we will dive back up to the top, where all the action seems to be happening at the minute. Frowney doing everything he can to keep hold of that P1. He has opened up a bit of a gap. It's only a 1 or 2 car lengths, but it is a bit of breathing space. Harry Poppins, well, let's have a look. He's got Big Dan all over the back of him as they head down towards turn 14 through this tight left-hander, trying not to get the power down too early so you don't spin. Everybody through there, but Big Dan has got a great exit. He's now right underneath Harry Poppins as we go down the hill through 16, 17, start back up the hill again through turn 18, and this is where Big Dan decides he's had enough. He's going to make his move. He's positioned his car on the inside. Harry Poppins trying to get across to do the same to Frowney, but he can't because Big Dan's there. Well, we've lost them all, haven't we? Harry Poppins is having to go around the outside. Just a bit of a door touch there with Big Dan. Big Dan couldn't quite get the move done, but he's staying with them. Harry Poppins just in front. He can see Frowney, and then we look in the mirrors, and Wayne G has got by Scott. So Wayne G is now decided he's had enough of these guys messing about in front of him. He wants them out the way so he can get himself in P1. And we're with Big Dan chasing Harry Poppins through. We're down through turn 9 and then into turn 10, this tight left-hander. Remember, you don't want to go drifting too far out to the right because you will pick up a penalty. Wayne G getting right on the back of Big Dan as they go through the first of the tunnels. You'll see the daylight pop up in a second and we're straight into the next tunnel. And it looks like Big Dan was going to make a move on Harry Poppins. Harry Poppins defending well. He's got that car in a good position as they go into turn 14. Wayne G, he is trying to get round Scott. Scott rather trying to come up the inside of Wayne G, so those two having to go side by side. Scott now sticking to the back of Wayne G. Just see what's happening up at the front there, where Frowney, he has just maintained that couple of car lengths gap. The battle at the minute then is Harry Poppins and Big Dan. Harry Poppins has to go defensive again and moves to the inside. Big Dan not bothered. I'll go around the outside, he says. And he has, all the way around the outside. Fantastic move from Big Dan. He says to Harry Poppins, you keep the inside line, I'm not bothered. So Big Dan moves up into second, Harry Poppins in third. I know he's not going to stay there for very long. He's going to put a challenge in on Big Dan anytime now. Wayne G also getting frustrated. He wants to get by these guys and get out in the front where he's used to being. Scott sitting in 5th. Now these 5 really starting to break away now. Bazza in 6th. Got himself a little bit of a gap now. Back to Aussie Rooster. Aussie Rooster coming under attack from Enzo Jack. So Enzo Jack fancies his chances of getting P7 now. He's got Pete just tucked up just underneath him as well. So there's a 3-way battle going on here for 7th. In fact, DB's joined the party as well. As the 4 of them head down towards turn 14, we seem to get around this track so quickly, don't we? It is only just over 2.5 miles long, and these guys are doing a fantastic job. We've got Harry Poppins with the fastest lap on a 1:33. And you can see DB in P10. He's doing a 1:34, so there is only about a second between the fastest lap and P10, which is fantastic racing. Phaser down in 11th, on his own at the minute. I'm sure he won't mind that, but he's on his own in 11th. Then we've got Ninky New in 12th. Again, he's on his own. And we've got Castrian in 13th. Molepiece in 14th. He's made a place up, and then Hoppers down in 15th. Just trying to catch up to the guys in front. Not a bad turnout, is it, for a Sunday evening? 15 out of the 16 drivers all on track. As we see Frowny trying to keep Big Dan behind him. Big Dan has been having some fantastic results, hasn't he, lately? You can never write him off for getting a foot on the podium. As he puts a challenge in on Frowny now. As they head into the second tunnel, it is Frowny and Big Dan side by side. Big Dan has got his nose slightly in front, but Frowny has got the inside line as they go down towards turn 14. Hard on the brakes. Get that steering wheel full over hard, full left lock. Get the power down and head on down the hill, and Big Dan's done it. He's got the move done. He moves into P1. Frowny has to slot in behind him, but how long is he going to stay there as Harry Poppins tries to get in there as well? So we've got the 3 of them now fighting their way down the hill towards turn 1. Frowny's got on the inside. Harry Poppins is trying to go in between the 2 of them. He's not going to do that. Big Dan still in front, is he? No, Frowny took the inside line and Frowny got in front, but they are still side by side as they go through turns 2, 3 and 4 up towards turn 5. It is Frowny, the lead, just chopping and changing through one of the short tunnels, around the right-hander, into the next little tunnel, and through turn 7 and 8. They go through 8 and 9, then into 10, as they all filter around turn 10. Frowny still in front. Oh, he just seemed to go a little bit wide there. Big Dan had to dive to the inside, and the momentum carried him through, so Big Dan retakes the lead as they come out of the first of the tunnels. Bit of daylight, then straight back into the second tunnel. Down towards turn 14 they go. Big Dan in the lead with Frowny and Harry Poppins side by side. Frowny having a little bit of a look, but I think he's lost out to Harry Poppins. Harry Poppins went round the outside. What a fantastic move from Harry Poppins. He's managed to make up 2 spaces in one turn, and yes, we are going to have another look at that from Harry Poppins. In fact, we're going to go back a little bit further. He was in 3rd position. He decided he was going to take that outside line. He went side by side with Frowny. You can see he's just got his nose in front of Frowny. Big Dan slows up. He put the brakes on maybe a little bit too early, I don't know, or was Harry Poppins just have the bigger gonads, but whatever it was a fantastic move around the outside of Big Dan and Frowny. I think he caught them both by surprise, and Harry Poppins moves up into the lead and gets himself a little bit of breathing space, if that's what you can call it, on this track. As Big Dan chasing him down, we've got Wayne G and Frowny side by side. Wayne G has got the inside line. although it's been proven on this particular turn, turn 1, having the inside line is no real advantage, as everybody filters round and you go too wide round there. It is not a problem for these guys, and the 5 of them still fighting it out. Harry Poppins leads them through this lap. Who's going to be in the lead for the next one? We will drop down the order very quickly. Bazza is in 6th, he's got Enzo Jack in 7th. Then we've got Aussie Rooster, he's got DB and Peter fighting it out for 9th, just behind Aussie Roosters. Them two go side by side as well. This is fantastic racing throughout the entire grid with these League 4 boys. Fraser in 11th, Ninky New is 12th, Malpiece 13th. Then we've got Hoppers and Castrian. Oh, and Castrian must have had a bit of a moment to find himself all the way down in 15th, so that is unlucky for him. He's going to carry on battling though. We're on lap 10. He's got another 6 laps to go, so he can try and catch up to the back of Hoppers and Malpiece. But let's go back up to our leader, Harry Poppins, as he goes up through turn 16, 17, just coming up to 18 now, on the crest of the hill, and then they start down the hill then, or slope really, towards turn 1 for the 11th time. Harry Poppins with that fastest lap still, a 1:33.7, as Big Dan that goes up the inside. No, he's gone around the outside now. Maybe he fancies that one a little bit better, but he has managed to get his nose in front. You can just see Wayne G in 3rd with a half-second penalty, as Harry Poppins and Big Dan having a bit of a door bashing session as they go through these turns 3, 4 and 5 through the short tunnel. Wayne G still carrying that half-second. That's going to that'll be spent in the second tunnel. We did see that on lap 1, where the penalty zone is, and that means that Frowny and probably Scott are both going to be able to take Wayne G. So Wayne G could find himself down in 5th after serving this penalty. You can see the bar starting to fill up. He is going to slow down. All of a sudden the brakes will be slammed on. It is only half a second, but I think Frowny and Scott could have the momentum and they could carry on past Wayne G. So let's just have a look. So Wayne G, or am I telling you fibs now? Yeah, so Wayne G goes to 4th, yeah, and Scott. So Franny and Scott both go through. Although Wayne G's got the inside line, Scott gets pushed a little bit wide, but he still managed to get the job done. So Scott moves up into 4th, Franny goes to 3rd, and Wayne G drops back to 5th. So all that hard work he did earlier has been undone just by picking up that half a second penalty. But Wayne G will not leave that alone. He has got himself tucked right underneath Scott as he dives to the inside in turn 1. Remember, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's just as quick round the outside it would appear, but Wayne G gets the job done. He moves up into 4th. In fact, let's jump on board with Wayne G, shall we? As we now chase Frowny down. We've got Big Dan just ahead. He's got a half-second penalty. Now, if what happened to Wayne G is anything to go by, Big Dan is going to lose at least 2 spaces when he serves that penalty, and he will be absolutely furious with himself. Harry Poppins out in front, then we've got Big Dan, then we've got Frowny. We're on board with Wayne G. We've got Scott sniffing all around the back end of this NSX of Wayne G's. Now I'm just going to stay on board with Wayne G as we go through the first of the tunnels, because Big Dan has got a penalty to serve. Wayne G lost a little bit of time there. So Big Dan, he's going to drop down. Well, he's dropped into 3rd. Frowny goes through into 2nd, and Wayne G just couldn't quite get close enough. Or maybe a little bit of a bumper kiss, I'm not sure. They are both still on the tarmac though, and that's what counts. As Scott just drops off the pace of Wayne G at the minute. So let's get out of that car. I'm sure Wayne doesn't want us sitting next to him for another lap. It is a bit off-putting when you get somebody sitting next to you, rabbiting away in your ear hole. So Wayne down into 4th. Let's have a look what's happening up at the top. Harry Poppins in front, Frowny in 2nd. He is tucked right underneath the wing of Harry Poppins, isn't he? He just will not let him go away. The pressure is there constantly. Big Dan, he is doing everything he can to keep Wayne G behind him. These five are having a fantastic fight. Bazza down in 6th. He's managed to get a bit of a gap now between himself and Enzo Jack, so he's got a good breathing space. Enzo Jack as well on his own. Aussie Rooster in 8th. We've got Pete in 9th. You can see the back of Aussie Rooster. He just needs to put that pedal down a little bit harder to catch up to the back of him. DB in 11th. Then we've got Phaser. Oh, Phaser picked up another half-second penalty. Remember, this is only his second outing in the Sunday League, so Phaser's still finding his feet in that NSX. And he's going to serve his penalty now. Where's Ninky New? I don't think Phaser's going to lose his position. I don't think Ninky New is close enough. Ninky New just entering the tunnel now as Phaser comes out the other side. We've got Molpiece in 13th, Hoppers in 14th, and Castrian unfortunately all the way down in 15th. We missed what happened to him, but it must have been quite a decent bump to get him down to 15th. So back up to the top. Has things calmed down? No, they have not. Harry Poppins out in front. He has still got Frowny all over him. I'm just having a quick look at the tyres now. The right hand side, as we mentioned earlier, taking the punishment, around about 40-50% wear on those. We've only got 3 laps to go though, including this one, so can Harry Poppins hold on? Frowny in 2nd, Big Dan, he is on the podium for now, but he's got Wayne G in his rearview mirror. Oh, and Scott in 5th has picked up a half-second penalty. That will take the pressure off Wayne G and he can concentrate on Big Dan then, as Scott serves that penalty as we come out of this tunnel into the next one, into the penalty zone. Bazza will get closer to Scott. He was not going to take P5 away from him, but he will get closer as they go down towards turn 14 for the 14th time. Scott desperately trying to get that car slowed down. Then we've got Wayne G. Well, I thought Wayne G was going a bit slowly then, but all the guys are doing the same thing. Oh, and Frowny has got in front of Harry Poppins. So let's just go back and see where this move was. And it was in the tunnel, it was in the straight down towards turn 14. Harry Poppins on the inside, Frowny though just in front, so Harry Poppins has to slot in behind him. So he's looking for a decent exit out of this turn as Wayne G and Big Dan go side by side. Frowny, he gets himself in front of Harry Poppins. Harry Poppins tucks right underneath Frowny's rear wing. Tries to position the car early. He's letting Frowny know exactly what he's going to do. Very early on, Harry Poppins wants that inside line. As we've already seen though, it doesn't really make that much difference in turn 1. But Harry Poppins gets to the turn first. He's got the tighter line. It's just all about the exit. Oh, and he gets it done. Harry Poppins just closes the door on Frowny before Frowny can get his foot planted on that noisy pedal. So Harry Poppins retakes the lead. Frowny slots into 2nd. Big Dan just got the better of Wayne G at the minute in 3rd. Wayne G coming through. Oh, he's picked up another half-second. Well, it's a good job the windows are not open on that car, because I bet the crowd right at the back could hear him swearing as Wayne G has picked up another penalty. So I think that's his fight with Big Dan over with. It doesn't seem much, does it? Half a second, but when you're racing as hard and as fast as these guys, half a second might as well be 10 minutes, I think. And there we come. Wayne G just coming up to the penalty zone. He's got Scott all over him. Is Scott going to go by? I think Scott's got the momentum. He has. So Wayne G drops down to 5th. Scott moves up into 4th. Gets the move done before we get to turn 14. The front 3 just pulling away a little bit. It's not a massive gap, but it's enough. As Big Dan tries to make the move on Frowny. Frowny shuts the door on him. Big Dan then slots to the inside. He's letting Frowny know very early what he wants to do. Harry Poppins Is he going to defend, or does he feel he doesn't need to? Maybe he feels he doesn't need to, but Frowney just having a bit of a look up the inside there. It was a bit of a cheeky one, wasn't it? But Harry Poppins didn't feel the need to defend that much there. He knew he'd got the corner, it was his. Excuse me. On the final lap then. Oh, was Frowney? What's happened? What has happened to Frowney? We'll carry on. We'll go from turn one. He has a bit of a cheeky look up the inside of Harry Poppins, but Harry Poppins slams the door on him and says, "You are not having it there." Now, Frowney got himself on the grass there. Maybe it was dirty tyres. He's picked up a half-second penalty. Oh, I think it was the dirty tyres, and the back end's just decided to come round on him. How unlucky is that for Frowney? He's had an absolute stormer of a race and has ended up down in 5th with a half-second penalty. Enzo Jack in 6th. His teammate, I don't think he's going to get close enough to catch him. So Harry Poppins, I bet he couldn't believe his luck. I know he would not wish that on anybody, and that is not how you want to win a race, but I bet he's got a bit of a secret smile on his face underneath that visor. It is now up to Big Dan to take P1 away from Harry Poppins, but I don't think he's going to do it. Harry Poppins now 2, 3, 4 car lengths ahead of Big Dan in 2nd, with Scott in 3rd and Wayne G doing everything he can to get onto the podium. It's just the exit here, and I think they've both just got a good exit then. So we're going to follow Harry Poppins through, because once we've gone through turn 18 and over the crest of the hill, he's going to be looking at that checkered flag, and a fantastic win for Harry Poppins, and what a race that was. Big Dan brings it in 2nd, Scott in 3rd, just ahead of Wayne G in 4th. If we hadn't have picked those penalties up, who knows. Frowney in 5th, Enzo Jack 6th, Bazza 7th. What an unlucky ending for Frowney. Aussie Rooster crossed the line in 8th. DB and Pete battling it out for 9th. DB just ahead of Pete. And Phaser in 11th with Molepiece. Ninky New in 13th. Hoppers around turn 14. He's going to bring it home in 14th. Well, what a fantastic first race here in Switzerland at the Deep Forest Raceway. Hope you can join me for race 2. If it's anything like this one, we're in for a real treat. There is a mandatory pit stop in race 2, and as I said before, I think it's changed. It's going to be softs and mediums for these guys as Castellan crosses the line in 15th. So thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, remember to hit that like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, then please do so, as it really does help us out. And as I say, join us again very shortly for race 2.